back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Deducation, the Teachers on Summer Break Talking Terror podcast, where myself, Mike,
and me, Courtney,
are here to talk about another movie. This one is not even a year old. We're talking about Barbarian, the Zach Cregger written and directed horror motion picture. It came out countrywide last September. Something you come across on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Yes, I was scrolling. I searched good horror movies, and this one had popped up. And I don't know
if I should feel insulted by that or not. Like, you want good horror movies, so you go to TikTok instead of asking your horror podcast co-host.
No, so I could bring something to.
I know. I figured that's what you meant. I'm just messing. It'd be a little silly to ask me for a recommendation to bring to me.
Yeah, and so then I had asked you if it was decent enough to watch, and you're like, yeah, and it didn't disappoint. Like,
I didn't figure it would.
This one, I don't know. The only words I'm coming with right now are like hit me in the feels, which
kind of rattled you a little bit.
Yes, like I couldn't go to bed.
Oh,
so
good.
I couldn't go to bed, so I decided to watch it.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was folding laundry, and of course it's like 11 something, and so I had shut the door so my husband could sleep. I shut it was like the lights were dim in here, and I've got it playing on my iPad in the windowsill. And at one point, like, she's going down the hall, and I was just like kind of folding laundry, watching like this, because I'm like, there's going to be a jump scare. And then I'm like, Courtney, you are 27 years old in your house that is locked. And it's like, why are you doing this? But I'm just like, whew, man, this one got me.
Yeah, good. I have a soft spot. Well, first of all, I don't think the horror genre would exist if you didn't have characters doing the exact opposite of what they should be doing.
Yes.
And so this movie and many others, I have a soft spot for characters who, for all intents and purposes, appear to be intelligent people.
Yes.
But they just do dumb things, and not stupid things. I don't, because I think stupid things are different,
Right.
But it's like curiosity gets to them a little bit, and next thing you know, they're in a really bad situation.
Yes.
And that's what this movie is. We really just have, I will say, like 3 characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 main ones.
And then the bad.
Yeah.
So we're in rundown Detroit. Our main female character, Tess, shows up at an Airbnb, and the key's not in the Dropbox.
Right. And
that right there should have been, okay, you go find somewhere else.
Okay, no, the neighborhood should have been you go find somewhere else.
True.
Because
but in all fairness, it was dark and rainy.
I guess, but
still, when you pull into a neighborhood and there are no street lights, there are no house lights,
and none of the houses are livable. If someone's in there, they're squatting. Yeah, for sure. Like this is what I think of when people talk about like the Detroit 9 Mile where Eminem grew up.
Right, 8 Mile.
8 Mile.
Like, you're just a mile off.
Really, you know what I meant.
9 miles, really nice.
Yeah. This is what I picture, because I'm like, do these people even have like running water? I don't know. But the house she walked up to was cute.
Yeah, it was. It was very cute and very Airbnb'd.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to buy it on the cheap, fix it up, and rent it out. So she shows up and there's no keys. And so she does the logical thing. She gets back in her vehicle. Really, I'm not really freaking out, but just confused. Like, wow, this is just, it's rainy. I'm here. There's no keys or whatever. And then a light turns on in the house, and come to find out that, which honestly, I could see something like this happen.
Especially when you have it posted on multiple different sites.
Yeah, so she rented the house through Airbnb and he rented it through HomeAway.
Yep.
Which I guess I don't own extra property, so therefore I don't rent out extra property. Is that common? I mean, do you know that if you've got property, renting it out on multiple platforms?
I wouldn't think so.
I feel like you pick one and go.
Yeah, because I just feel like like actually thinking about it, like you have to pay insurance for both of those places then.
Yeah.
And that like takes quite a bit of money, and then it's just
you
like
gotta pay listing fees.
Like, I mean, who are you gonna cross check all this with? Like, that's a lot. Like, oh, it booked here, so I got to check it off here. Like, no.
Well, and we meet the owner later, but like he doesn't handle it all. He's got like a management agency running it. So Tess she's kind of, and I think it was a brilliant piece of casting that they casted Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise in the It movies, as the guy, because like we kind of talked about last week, he's just in this movie he's completely harmless.
Yes,
but he's already played characters that make us uncomfortable. So seeing him with the makeup off as just playing a regular dude, we automatically assume like, something nefarious is up here.
Yes.
They work it out. You know, he's super nice about it, super chill. Hey, look, you're not gonna find a hotel room in the city. Which for me, I was like, you're not, like, every single hotel room in Detroit is taken.
Exactly.
Every one of them. Like, she'll find someplace.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't have a movie. But long story short, she stays, he stays. They actually kind of flirt a little bit. You know, they find out she's there to interview to be like a production assistant for a documentary that she assumed nobody's ever heard of. Well, this guy's heard of it. You know, it's just like, it's too much of a meet cute to be like, oh, look at these guys. So, but to Tessa's credit, she really does take precautions. Like, locks her door. She won't drink a glass of wine that he's poured. He realizes that, oh, I get it. Like, you know, like it's everything's on the up and up. Other than it's like woman, no.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Like they gave a good point as to where like if they were swapped, like if this were a guy coming into where a girl was at, like no problem, like whatever. Right. But it's like it is like, you know, as a woman, you are like a little bit more like, I didn't see you pour that. So, you know, not saying that women would not do that because. But
I know what you mean.
But yeah.
But they really did do a good job of, they lay out this scenario that we as viewers are like, oh no way. But then they discuss that exact scenario. Of like, look, I almost like they're talking to each other, but also talking to us. Of like, look, I know what you're thinking. This is nothing's wrong here. You know, we understand the precautions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, and so she stays.
Yep. And
she stays in the bedroom. He sleeps on the couch. She wakes up middle of the night and her door's open. You know, we saw her lock it. What? No, we didn't. She didn't lock it.
No, not the first time, right? She didn't the first time.
No. But her door was open, which, again, understandably so. She's going to freak out.
Yes. And she's hearing this, like, weird noise coming from Keith.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's having, like, night terrors or something because...
Yeah. He's having a bad dream. And then, you know, it's like, I can't... But... the more I think about this movie, it's just... It's so well crafted because even here, he's having nightmares. She's hovering over him, and we're just waiting. Yeah. Like, something bad's gonna happen.
Yep. And that is like, I was like seriously on the edge of my like watching it the whole time because I'm like, oh, something. This is where it's gonna jump out. This is where, you know, exactly. Because like the first 40 minutes, I thought he was gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And that's what we went golfing yesterday with some friends, and they asked what the movie was about this week, and I had said Barbarian, and they're like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because the first 40 minutes I thought that he was going to kill her. Like, I'm waiting for him to kill her.
Yeah, like he's like you said, he's having these nightmares. She wakes him up, which again we're like, no, don't do that. She wakes him, but even then he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like he's almost victimized here. Like, why are you waking me up? Like, this is freaky, you know. So she locks herself, you know, goes back to bed.
Yeah, and this is like, where she locks.
Yeah, she does lock it this time. Wakes up a little late. She goes to her interview, which I thought was kind of fun because, like, the lady's like, "So where are you staying?" "Oh, I got an Airbnb in Brightmoor," and she's like, "Yeah, you need to get out of there."
Yeah, no,
you know, can't. You need to leave. And even like when she comes back, she parks. She's headed back up. She's got the keys.
Yeah,
Keith left early. Left her the keys. You know, and good luck on your interview. Like, it was cute. Like, all this is setting up to where if this wasn't a horror film, it's like, this is going to be a really sweet romantic movie.
This is the perfect Hallmark movie.
Yeah. And so, as she pulls up, like, some homeless guy's chasing her down the street, telling her to get away from that house.
Yeah.
You need to leave. Of course, she's in a panic. I would be too.
Yes.
You know, gets herself back into the house. You know, she's safe from the guy, but she looks down and the basement door's open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like enough that it's odd. No, it wasn't. I'm getting ahead of myself. She's out of toilet paper.
Yes. Yeah. And she goes down to see the basement. Yeah. To the basement to get
She looks
some.
In the basement. She sees toilet paper in the basement because who doesn't store their extra toilet paper in the basement?
Exactly.
So the door shuts behind her. She left her phone and the keys upstairs. And so she's locked in the basement. And again, we're like, uh-oh, something terrible's going to happen here. Because we know we're watching a horror movie.
Yeah.
She's just stumbling around in the basement. She finds a secret passageway. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Everything is like, oh my God. And at this point, we care about Tess.
Yes.
We really do. I don't know about you. I already look at her of like, I care about you, but you're stupid.
Yes. And
like you're.
I felt bad for her here because it's like curiosity I know has gotten the best of us. Like I am one of those people that at 27, if I stay somewhere that is not familiar to me, when I shut the bathroom light off, I am still sprinting back to where I am sleeping.
Aww.
Like and it could be all of the crime documentaries, all of the horror movies, all of
be.
the serial killer podcast that I listen to. Like,
there's a chance.
Like, that is why I am still like.
To help with that.
Oops.
Try certain.
No,
Sorry,
Siri, get out of here.
Siri. That's why I'm still scared of the dark slightly at 27. So you would not find me going down that hallway with no light.
I'm gonna guess that because I did this as you know when I was younger. I reach into a room to turn on the light switch before I walk into a dark room.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't walk in and flip the switch as you're passing the switch.
No.
Like, all nonchalantly. No, I've done that, you know, when I was younger. I don't do it as much anymore just because I'm at the other end of that hill. I've watched so much that I'm really like, if it happens, it happens. Me standing 1.5 feet outside of the door frame is not going to save me.
Exactly. Like, if there's a murder or something in that room, like, they're still going to be there when the light's turned on.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Right. So she finds the secret passageway. She's down there for quite a while. It's really dark down there. She sets up this sculpture of mirrors, basically, to get the sunlight coming in through the basement window to reflect off a mirror to go down the hallway. It's like, well, good for you. Because her phone's upstairs. She has no flashlight. Well, she goes down this hallway and she finds it's a very short hallway. But to the left is a singular room. She turns on the lights. There's an unmade bed, a camcorder, and a bucket. And like a bloody handprint on the wall.
Yeah.
And again, this is behind a secret passageway. That's really not all that secret because it's just like pull the rope, open the wall.
Yeah.
But it's enough that it's like, oh, and she understandably so freaks. So she's done with that. She's waiting for Keith to get home. He does. Again, all of this scenario is built up with really no resolution. Like,
yeah,
we're waiting for the horror. We're waiting for the horror. Keith shows up. He lets her in. Like, they get the window open. He gets in the house. He lets her up. So, and again, it's another one of those perfect scenarios where we've seen her panic, and he's telling her about the panic. Like, we gotta get out of here. And he's just like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah, like, he almost doesn't believe her, which, I mean...
Right. Like, he's like, it's a bed and a bucket.
Yeah.
Like, I understand where it's creepy, but let's not overreact here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to run down and check it out.
Yeah, and she's like, no.
Which is a no, but I also can understand where, like, we've also seen the layout of the basement. Mm-hmm. We've seen there's nothing down there.
Yeah.
We've seen the end of this short hallway. We've seen the room. Yes, there's a secret passageway. There's obviously an opportunity for a second one. Hint, hint. But really, like, we've seen the basement. She's been down there for Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
Safely.
Exactly.
So, yeah, she's scared, but he's like, I'll just go look.
Yeah.
Almost like, you were down there and fine. Why can't I go down? Yes. So he goes down to the basement and doesn't come back. So she goes down after him again, props the door open this time because Tess is dumb, but she's not stupid. Follows him downstairs, and he's not there. Nowhere to be found.
Yeah, she's like yelling.
It's not a big basement.
No.
And this, like I said, this hallway is short. The master bedroom, the bed and bucket is empty. Like, but Keith is gone.
Yeah, and she heard him like faintly.
Yeah,
like yelling, and right. Like you had said, like the basement's not big, so where is it coming from? When she backs up, she bumps into a wall that is like hollow.
Yeah, it's like at the end of this short, like, secret passage.
Yes, and so she realizes she can open it, and it's like Narnia, like there's a whole like nother
medieval stairs. Like, it's old.
Yeah, like head down to the dungeon type. Yeah. And
she has her phone this time. Tess, you should have just left. Like, honestly, at this point, you were already worked up and scared. I understand that you're kind of sweet on Keith. You don't know the guy.
You've not been with him for 24 hours, so...
Go get the police. But instead, well, again, we have a movie. We got... she's not acting in her own personal best interest. She's acting in what her script has told her to do. So she goes down after Keith. She's, like, screaming. We see cages... We see different inlets off of this, like, dugout subterranean, like, who knows? It's just this vast, very long secret passageway. She eventually comes up to Keith, who is, like, trying to get away from something.
Yeah.
And that's when Act 1 ends, really.
Yeah.
As this giant, deformed, naked woman.
She reminded me of, like, oh my goodness, what was that movie? We've watched it, and now it just left my mind. People would see this thing and then commit suicide.
Oh.
The Following?
Oh, Smile.
Okay, nope, not that.
Or are you talking about It Follows?
It Follows? Is that where, like, the thing, like, engulfs you?
No, that was Smile.
Okay.
Smile was, they had that big demon at the end that, like, was eating you.
Yes.
Yeah.
This kind of reminded me of, like, that demon, and then it was, like, Zelda, the way that she was, like...
Oh, yeah.
The hair was nasty and straw-like looking.
Yeah. But we don't know what this thing is. We just know that it lives underground or whatever. But it's human. I mean, you could tell that it's human, but it's just so messed up.
And it is the first, like, one of the first naked characters that's not been killed off.
Right. Yeah.
I thought about texting you that, but then I was like, it's late. I don't know if he's awake. And it was before I had tweeted, and I was just going to be like, man, this naked one's the one I wish would die, but I have a feeling she's not going to.
Yeah. Nudity in a horror movie typically means that you're going to die. But it's different when the nude thing is the bad guy. So, so it attacks Keith, like, repeatedly smashes his head against the wall.
No, it was amazing.
Like, just blood everywhere. Just making applesauce out of this guy's head.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, screams at Tess and then cut. Like, that's it. We fast forward 2 weeks and we meet Justin Long's character. I really like Justin Long as an actor, but a lot of times he plays roles that you don't like.
Yeah.
And this is one of those roles.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
he is just kind of stupid in this one. Like it's not dumb. Like, he's just stupid in this one.
Yeah. So we meet him, and this movie in some ways really is about AJ's character arc. Far more than Tess or Keith. Yeah. We've just spent, like you said, 30 to 40 minutes of the movie meeting two people that ultimately don't matter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, over the course of this movie, Tess has no character arc. We really don't know anything about her. No. And so we don't know if she's changed or not. AJ has opportunity to change, and we find out whether he does or doesn't. So anyway, AJ's out in California. And he's driving his car. He's this TV producer, or actor, or whatever. I don't know what he is. Like, he's involved in Hollywood somehow. He's just living his life. And he gets a phone call that he's being fired because of revealed allegations that he's raped his co-star. And so, like, he's being dropped by everybody. Yeah. His financial guy drops him, like, the studio. Like, it's very meta to what we deal with today. Yes. And good for them. AJ, you're trash. You're trash. Yep. You know? I'm not saying that there isn't an opportunity for people to fake allegations. I really do think, though, we're at a point where there are so many of them that are true that I really hope nobody is despicable enough to just make up something. Exactly. I really hope that, because I don't know. I think there's been so much attention paid to this stuff, and finally justice coming for these, women who have been wronged, that I really think the seriousness of the allegations is really taken teeth, to where if a woman were brazen enough to create false allegations in an attempt to capitalize, I think everybody's lawyered up to the point now that they're not going to win. No. I would hope. Yeah. So AJ he needs to make some money. And he's got lots of properties. Like, yes, he does. Like, his financial person had said, like, he could survive 3 months with his spending habits. Which, okay, whatever. Like, his spending habits, you can tell. Like you had said, like, he's got a fancy little. They're extravagant. He's living a Hollywood lifestyle. Yes. And so he heads to this Detroit house that he's got. Yeah, he happens to own this Airbnb that we've been spending the first part of the movie in. Yes, and he has just almost sub-rented it out to someone else to rent out or whatever. He's like you said, there's like a management group overseeing it or whatever. So, but he's going to sell it, or he wants to check it out before he sells it. Yes, because he needs the money. And for me, I'm like, I would think, though, buying property in Brightmoor, Detroit is easy. Yeah. I think selling property in Brightmoor, Detroit would be very difficult. Like, this is the house you think about, but also maybe he doesn't know the condition of the neighborhood. Like, I doubt he does. Like, I mean, he seems kind of, so whatever. Yeah.
He walks in and he sees the basement door propped open.
Well,
First, like, who's at my house? Like,
yeah, he gets there because there's still a car there. There's suitcases.
Yeah.
It's Tess and Keith stuff. Because again, we know they've been captured. We see Keith is dead. Tess, last we saw her, was being grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
So when we see their stuff and we know it's 2 weeks later, automatically, as I was like, oh, like,
yeah, like they're dead, and here goes AJ. So yeah, he's like, and his person's like, no one's there. Like, it's not checked into. I really don't understand the cleaning service. I do agree with him on this, because she's like, well, the cleaning service doesn't come until someone else checks in. And it's like, so if they trash the place, it's just left like that? Like, no.
Yeah, I thought that was messed up too. Like, no, clean it after someone leaves, not before someone shows up.
Like, a dead body has been in this house for 2 weeks.
Right. Or even if the garbage hasn't been taken out.
Yeah.
Like no, don't clean up right before someone shows up. That's what you do when you live in the home. You clean up right before your visitors
exactly.
show up.
Give me 30 minutes.
If you're going to abandon the place, then no, clean up after they leave.
And so then he realizes the basement door is propped open, and he goes to shut it. But then something catches his interest down there.
Well, when he goes down there, like, Tess's mirror contraption is still set up. And the trap, like the hallway door is still, like the secret hallway door is still open. And so it's a mystery to him too.
He gets this brilliant idea, like, hey, Google, what can I list on the house for sale? Like, square footage wise. Yeah. And so he's like, all right, gotta go measure this basement. And like, he's got this whole secret passageway. And it's made his day. Like, he doesn't even really fazed by that one bed and bucket.
No, he's looking at it as like, sweet, there's another bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, he's looking at it on a real estate of like, this house is far bigger than I thought. I'm going to really rake this in. But yeah, like you said, he's down in that tunnel with his measuring tape. Like again, nothing is registering in his head. Like you've just found a secret tunnel behind a hallway you didn't know was there. You're down in these like dungeon type area, and you just got your measuring tape. Like, this is gold. This is great.
Like, don't mind the blood on the wall. Let me just measure around it. Comes to
a room. There's an abandoned. The whole thing's abandoned. But he comes across a room that's got like mattresses in it.
Yeah.
And a television, and the television is playing a videotape about breastfeeding. It's like on repeat. Like, there's lights. Like, it's really bizarre.
Mm-hmm. It is really weird.
Yeah. And so the mother shows up, which is that's kind of what the movie's calling this woman. It's this grotesque naked woman. She shows up. She attacks AJ. AJ takes off running, and he falls into a hole. Mm-hmm. And Tess is in this hole.
Yes.
She's still alive. But they're both like in a hole that's in a hole behind a hole that's underneath a hole. Like, it's like, you're not going to just accidentally get your way out.
Exactly. Yeah. And then this is where like it cuts This is the TikTok scene that I had seen.
Okay.
So it heads back to the 80s and the original owner in this absolutely beautiful neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, this Brightmoor neighborhood looks great.
Yes. Frank, who is the owner, he heads to the grocery store, and he's like getting different things like plastic cloths, diapers, things, because he's going to have a baby, even though he's like 70 looking years older than that. And they're going to do a home birth.
Yeah. Well, and he's talked to his neighbors. Like he seems like a sociably acceptable dude.
But we find out that he, which I guess we don't find that out until later, so maybe I won't.
No, we do.
We find it out here?
A little bit. Like, not in great detail, but when he goes back home, like, his neighbors are even like, are you leaving? Like, everybody's
Yeah.
leaving, like,
Yeah.
planning on leaving the neighborhood. Which I don't remember if they ever got into why, but it just seemed like everybody's leaving.
Uh-huh.
Like, but everybody was leaving, and Frank is like, I'm staying put.
Yeah.
This is my home. Well, of course,
He was like kidnapping women.
yeah.
And then raping them and keeping them in the tunnels, but then having kids with their kids.
Yeah.
So this mother, quote unquote, fake thing is like inbred through and through and through and through.
Oh yeah, like she's the result of like several generations of inbreeding.
And it's like you almost feel bad for her in a way because she does not know what she's doing. I don't think.
No.
Like when you find this out, like, because again, I had no clue. And I'm just like, what in the heck is this lady? But then when you find out, like, she is so inbred that she can't even talk.
No.
Like, she just kind of growl talks. Yeah. And it's like...
She wants to be a mother so bad.
Yes. And, like, she is the victim just as much as everyone else is, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it comes back to present time in the hole, and she's got a bottle.
Yeah.
This part...
Yeah, things get real gross. Yeah, because she's dropped like this grated like top over the hole so people can just crawl out. And she's got this, like you said, she's got this bottle on a rope that she's lowering down for AJ to drink from. Yeah. And Tessa's looking at him. She's like, drink it. Like play the game. Now we understand now real quick that Tessa survived these 2 weeks because she has allowed to be mothered. Like, all this woman wants to do is be a mother, and Tess has played the game. She's smart. Despite all of the ridiculous decisions she's made, she's savvy. Well, AJ, being the pretentious, silver-spooned, just jerk that he is, he did go out on the town before he fell into this trap. He was out with a buddy. And they were talking about the allegations, and he all but admitted to it. Yeah. But again, in a defensive way of like, almost like, well, yeah, but this time no meant yes.
Yeah, like she had said no before, but like, I mean, not really. Like, no, bud. Like,
but it's like you just gotta be persistent. You'll break them down. They'll say yes eventually. Like, no, it's so gross. Yeah. So. Yeah, she's dropping this bottle down, and they show there's like hair stuck to the nipple of the bottle. I read in the trivia on IMDb that was not intended. That was just like some hair on the wig got stuck to it, and then the director was like, "Oh, that's even better." Like, why didn't I think of that? Disgusting. So she's dropping it down for AJ to drink from, and AJ won't do it. Like, no, I'm absolutely not. So, of course, mother gets mad, yanks AJ out of the cage, and, like, forces him to breastfeed.
Yeah. And so I had read, I don't know where I read this, but after the movie, I was just, like, Googling some things about it. Yeah. And I read that there was a cutscene here where when he refused the bottle before she tried to force breastfeed him, she had, like, picked up a rat and chewed it. And force-fed him like a bird.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Wherever I read it, said that it was too, like, repulsive to put out there, and so they didn't.
And not only that, but it to me, it doesn't fit either. Yeah. Because this woman clearly has not been outside.
Correct.
So how would she know how birds feed when all she watches is a breastfeeding video? Yeah. Yeah. It's... Humans don't, like, I understand birds don't get taught how to feed their young, but humans aren't going to just resort to feeding people like birds. So,
exactly.
So, yeah, AJ's being forced to breastfeed. Tess seizes the opportunity to get out because she realizes mother's tied up with AJ. I'm out of here. Yeah. So she does. She gets free. She busts out of the basement window.
With the help of that homeless guy.
Yeah, the homeless guy.
Andre.
Yeah. the homeless guy who'd warned her earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why she didn't take his advice. I mean,
Yes.
he's chasing you down the street. She gets out, but like Mother's right behind her, like reaching out from the basement window trying to grab her. It's daytime.
Like if this were a 3D movie,
Oh,
she would
man.
have grabbed you from your seats.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Tess gets free. Andre tells her she's not done with you.
Yeah.
She's coming for you after night. So get out of here. But Tess can't do it because Tess he's down there. Like, it's like you fell for that once with Keith. Like, let him go.
Yeah, seriously.
I know you don't know AJ, but we know AJ a little bit.
And just
let him go.
Yeah, like trust me, the world will be okay.
He deserves everything he's got coming. So AJ takes advantage of his opportunity because when Mother bailed on him to take off after Tess, he finds himself alone. And she's now chasing him, and he runs into a room and she won't go near it.
No.
And so this room has got Frank in it.
Yeah, and he's like bedridden, beyond bedridden.
Yeah, we don't see him right away.
No.
Like AJ's working his way around the room, and it's like you could tell that it's been lived in, but you know it's not Mother's room. But then we see Frank.
Yeah, and he wants something from the bedside table.
Right, and AJ obliges because, granted, the movie also does such a good job of like telling us about AJ but not Tess.
Yes.
Well, the movie told us about Frank but not AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that Frank is a monster.
Yeah.
AJ does not. He just assumes it's another victim.
Mm-hmm. And so he's like again, like Frank struggles moving at this point, like anything.
Right.
And so he's like, I'm calling the cops, like we're getting all this, and then he realizes who Frank is.
Yeah.
And Frank reaches over and gets a gun from the bedside table drawer, wherever.
Right.
Doesn't matter. And I thought that maybe he was going to shoot AJ.
Well, he kind of aimed it at AJ
Yeah.
at first.
And I'm like, oh man, like this guy has survived being forcefully breastfed, and this is how he goes. Like,
Right.
I'm sure he doesn't care at this point, but he turns a gun on himself and killed himself.
Yeah. So that's it. Like, Frank, the originator of all of this horror, is gone, but we still have Mother to deal with.
Yeah.
Tess goes to the cops, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They ignore her story because it's a rough neighborhood. They go with her. They humor her. But she can't get in the house. She's trying to bust down the door. Like, they're like, whoa, this isn't your property. You can't
we can arrest you for breaking and entering.
Right.
Like, what?
You know, and then they get another call, shots fired, etc. So they leave. So now Tess is, again, back at the house, realizing her car's out front, but her keys are inside. She breaks into the house to get her keys, which she gets. Mother comes busting out of the house.
Yeah.
It's nighttime again. Andre told her she's coming.
Yeah.
She's coming. Andre's been around, and I think this is a very common sight for Andre. Seeing Mother out and about. I guess she does get out at night, apparently.
Yeah.
And Tess just like sandwiches her between her car and the house, like runs into her, pins her against the house, and she falls, just falls limply onto the hood.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, finally she killed her.
Now go get AJ and get out.
Right. Tess goes in after AJ. Again, at this point we know where Mother is.
Yes.
And we know Frank's dead. So, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Tess goes down after AJ. This part bummed me out. Because she's seemingly she is kind of calling for him, but not super loud.
Yeah.
But she gets to the room that's all lit up showing the breastfeeding video. So we know that there is light on her. She's illuminated.
Yeah.
And she hears somebody come in. She says hello or something, and AJ shoots her.
Yeah.
I get it, but I look at it as like, he had to have seen her.
Exactly.
She's right there in the doorway, illuminated. He had to have seen.
You can tell that this is not the mother.
Right.
Even if you can't see her face, you can tell.
Right.
Like, come on.
So, yeah.
So they get out of the house and they realize that mother has vanished.
Yeah, because, he didn't fatally shoot Tess.
Right.
But he definitely shot her to where she's hindered.
Yes. And this is where, like, Andre's like, listen, guys, like, she don't come in here, come with me.
I know.
She's never come in here before.
Right. All of this is totally set up to where, like, she's totally coming in there.
Yeah.
Like,
and so they go in there because why not? Like, if she's never been in there. And this is where, like, Andre's telling, like, how, like, this person is, like, the victim of, like you had said, like, multi-generational incest.
Yeah. Andre knows the story somehow.
Yeah.
But he's also he's our exposition character. Every horror movie has one, seemingly. Somebody that knows all the backstory. And we just keep him alive long enough to get that backstory out.
And then Mother busts in and kills him.
Yep.
And
Andre lived, like, underneath a water tower.
Yeah. To where Tess and AJ go up.
And AJ, who at this point, honestly, is kind of not fully redeemed himself, but I mentioned earlier that he's the only one with like kind of a character arc.
Yes.
He kind of has this character arc here. He shoots Tess and feels bad about it, and actually like saves her. So you get this vibe that it's like, okay, maybe now AJ has seen like awful ways. He's been sexually violated, by being forced to breastfeed. Yeah. It's like he's now been on the receiving end of the things that he allegedly has been doing, although we know it's not alleged, it's true. So they take off up this water tower. I love stupid decisions. Like, why on earth would you go up?
Yeah, like, go to where the lights are, please. Go to the city.
Yeah, go. You're never going to run out of. You're never going to run out of road. Keep running there. You are going to get to the top of a water tower, which they do. Yeah. AJ's, we got a plan. Like, AJ's got a gun. Just shoot her. AJ drops the gun.
Yeah.
Like,
so
idiot.
AJ's plan here is like, hey, you want your baby? Throws Tess off this water tower.
Chucks her. Like
what?
No kidding. Like, again,
what?
All of that redemption just wiped out. Nope. Sorry. AJ is a despicable human being.
I'm like, no, Tess has survived so much.
Right.
So much. She has overcome everything, and she gets thrown off water tower. Not even by the monster.
No. By the real monster.
Yeah.
By one of the men are terrible, by the way, with the exception of Andre. With the exception of Andre and Keith, every male in this movie is terrible.
And so, Mother, though, she jumps off and saves Tess from the fall.
Defies the laws of gravity, by the way. Yeah. Because just because you want to fall faster doesn't mean you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tess already has a head start going down. Mother swan dives off the top of this. We get a cool point of view shot from Tess's angle as the mother is diving towards her. And grabbed her, rolled over, and softened the blow as they hit the ground. At
this point, I mean, Tess is lucky that Mother loves her this much, because when AJ gets down there and Mother sees him, I mean, she's out to kill him, but she's also like he just tried to kill her baby.
Well, but at first, Mother's knocked out. Assuming you're dead, because you just fell from the top of a water tower and landed on your back. You're dead. By any other being on the planet is dead.
Not if you're inbred.
Nope, I guess not. So you're indestructible if you're inbred. So
That's right.
if you got any inbred listeners out there, congratulations, you're indestructible. But he, like, AJ's trying to rationalize with Tess, which you get the vibe like he spends his life doing terrible things and then trying to talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
He's basically telling her, look, I knew you would be fine. That was the only way we're going to survive. You know, I had to do this. So while he's trying to rationalize the Tess, Mother wakes up, I guess. I don't know. And just simply kills him, right? That's it. Just a real simple kill.
Yeah, she just, gouges his eyes out.
Yes.
Cracks his head open.
Like rips his head into two pieces.
Yeah. Cracks his head. Like, just, I mean, it is just like.
Yeah. It's like splitting a pistachio. Like.
Yeah.
Gouges her thumbs into his eye sockets, so now she has a good grip.
Mm-hmm.
And shucks it. Like. So then. The mother being the mother, again, Tess is her baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she's attempting to comfort Tess. It's okay. Mommy's here, just really trying to be okay. And Tess, I don't understand how she has, the only thing, Frank must have picked his gun up on his way down the water tower because
AJ?
Frank dropped it on the ladder. On the stairs, and Tess didn't take the stairs down.
Yeah.
She took the elevator. But she takes Frank's gun and shoots Mother in the head with it.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. I mean, Mother deserves to be put out of her misery.
She's like, I'm not going back there with you. Like, I'm done being your baby.
Yeah. And the movie ends with Tess, the camera's kind of on the ground level shooting up at her as she's just limping her way into the into the sunrise.
And that's Barbarian.
Yeah. Did you realize that the name of this movie, Barbarian, granted they lived on Barbary Street, but the name of the movie Barbarian is only spelled with the same letters as Airbnb.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah. Because at first you're like, how does this title fit?
Yeah.
But they do live on Barbary Street. That's where the house is. So I'm like, oh, okay. So they're Barbarian, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Those are only Airbnb letters.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
But that is it.
That is Barbarian. And man, I just, like I said, I really liked this movie. If you like a good movie with gore and suspense, then you should definitely watch this movie.
Yeah. I had I play a game on my phone, and I'm part of a group of an alliance. I'm totally nerding out here. My wife makes fun of me all the time about it. But one of them reached out because I know I've got a movie podcast. He reached out. He goes, "Hey, give me a recent horror film to watch because wife and I are going to watch a movie tonight." So I pitched him this one, and he hit me up later. He's like, "Oh, good rec." He goes, "We really like that one." So
yeah. He goes,
when your next episode is done, post it and post it in the chat so we can link to it. But yeah, that was,
was a good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot more my second viewing. I think this was a victim of me dozing off a lot the first time I watched it because I remember the actors, but I don't necessarily I watched this front to end without dozing off, so I understood it all much, much better this time.
Yeah, it was a good one. Like, Maggie and Brad both last night at dinner, they're like, "Oh my gosh, we both want to do Barbarian." And I'm like, listen, he loves guests. Like, hop on tomorrow at 3. And they're like, no. I'm like, it's a good one though. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, this was a really good one. I really like this one. Yeah, it was. I'm glad. I think it was a good recommendation. I'm glad I got to watch it again because it really did hit better this time. So, all right, well, let's grade it then. What do you grade this? I think I probably know, but this one's getting an A+ for me. The gore was good. The suspensefulness was good. Like, it had enough of that, like what we had talked about, like the natural lighting, just using those like dark, creepy areas. The storyline behind it, like, I get that it kind of had a few different stories in it, but I enjoyed that as well, like learning that our monster was also our victim,
Mm-hmm.
and just different little points of view. I really like this one.
Um, I'm curious. Well, obviously, it was the mother was in the house.
Yes.
You know, when Tess and Keith were sleeping. How did the mother get out of the basement?
Yeah, I don't know. She
Because
must have
that basement
like,
door seemed a little tricky.
yeah, she must have had like secret powers, or maybe
Who
she had
knows?
the only key.
Maybe one of her fingernails is shaped like the key. Who knows? No, I'm going to give this one an A as well. I really enjoyed it. It's rewatchable. I really, like I mentioned earlier, I like intelligent characters who do dumb things,
Yes.
because it's so common to see dumb characters do dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like Justin Long. He always plays. I mean, this is our second Justin Long movie. He was in Drag Me to Hell. Another one where it's like he's just so likable that when you plug him into an unlikable role, you're conflicted,
Yeah.
because you're like, I shouldn't like this guy, but I kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought the whole cast did well. Georgina Campbell, who played Tess, she did a great job as well. So yeah, it's getting an A from me. Plenty of gore, plenty of scares. Um, and for those of you that are like, yeah, you also mentioned nudity. It's extremely unsatisfactory nudity. This is not one of those horror films that you're going to watch for the TNA.
Yeah, no.
Because it is not. Matter of fact, the mother was played by a guy.
Yeah, I had seen
No.
that as well, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, full bodysuit. So if you want to see what Matthew Patrick Davis looked like nude, tune into Barbarian and get a glimpse.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's fun. What kind of... Being an educator in Detroit, again, this movie doesn't have much of an impact because there are no kids. So I guess we'll just have to go with just a common...
Yeah, I mean, again, like common sense, trust your gut. And also, if there's danger, don't go back for somebody, please.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they say on the airplanes, like, make sure you have your air hooked up before you help someone else.
Right.
Okay, make sure that you're safe before you go back and help someone else. Do not, and we're going to counter Ella's lesson, keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Because you will be locked in the basement.
That's true. This is the anti-screen. Keep the doors open. Yeah. Well put. I'm probably going to echo that. Just use your head. The movie did deflate a lot of those concerns, especially in the first act. When they were having open dialogue about the hesitations. Like, Tess, despite staying at the house, like, she was checking her back. Like, she was doing everything she should have been doing. But she just couldn't get that curiosity out of there. And so, don't go exploring either. Just don't explore. Like, if you go into a place that you aren't familiar with and you find something that may not possibly purposefully be there, don't explore.
Don't go.
Just go the other way.
Also, whoever they got for a inspection, the house inspection, whoever AJ had, they were awful because, like, how do you not find this extra 2,000 feet of square foot under your house? Yeah. Like, what? No, which again, like, that's just kind of, but
just being
I'm like,
silly,
how?
I'm with you. Like, just stay away. Yeah, the movie did very well at the box office. Its budget was only like $4 million, and it made like 11 times its money.
Wow.
But there's no room for. It's tight. Like, there's no room for a sequel. Like,
no.
And I like those where they're just kind of standalone. We made a movie, and we wrapped it all up. Like, there's no franchise opportunity here. Everybody that was a threat is dead. Frank, AJ, the mother, they're all dead. Like, I don't want to see the sequel where, Tess goes and works on that documentary. Like,
Yeah, no.
that's not interesting at all. So, next episode. We've already kind of pre-planned this last week. Are you okay sticking to those plans?
I am okay sticking to it.
We are going to go back in time. We're going to go way back to a black and white movie. Uh-oh. I don't think we've watched
it's
any
black and white, for real.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does that matter?
No, I thought you were joking.
No. Black and white by choice. We're going to go back and watch 1968's Night of the Living Dead.
Alrighty.
Classic movie. Really launched what modern day zombies are. There were zombie movies before Night of the Living Dead, but they were more like voodoo.
Yeah.
Control, not the eating humans. Night of the Living Dead, 1968, George Romero, independent film. I love this movie so much. It's such a good movie. And so it is black and white, but again, by choice, probably financial choice, because color film was expensive, more expensive than black and white film. But yeah, they made this movie for about $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, which even in 1968, like, not that much money.
Yeah, you can't even buy a house with that.
Yeah, $100,000 to make this movie. And so filmed around the Pittsburgh area, and it's such a good movie. I'm excited. It does. I'll rest assured, it does not have the pacing of Barbarian, but like we would not have modern day zombies like we have today without George Romero's classic.
Okay.
And so we've already watched the remake of the sequel, Dawn of the Dead.
And I like that one.
You did like that one, yeah.
Like, I never thought I would like a zombie movie.
Right. I'll tell you right now, these zombies are not sprinters. These are the slow, never-ending swarm of zombies.
Okay.
But a great movie top to bottom anyway. Like, just there's a lot of social message behind this film.
Okay.
Especially coming out in 1968. And so I'm going to leave it at that, and we are going to watch Night of the Living Dead next episode.
Alrighty.
It's like I said, I'm heading on vacation here in about 9 days. So ideally, I'd like to knock out 2 more episodes so that we can keep both of our listeners satisfied with show material. But yeah, I just reading here, it like I said, made about $100,000. It made more than 250 times its budget.
Wow.
It's one of the most profitable films ever made at the time. So we talked about Barbarian made 11 times its money. This movie made about $30 million on a $100,000 budget.
That's insane.
Yeah, great film. And they let the copyright lapse to where you can find Night of the Living Dead virtually anywhere. You go to YouTube, you could probably find it. Like I'm scrolling through Wikipedia right now just to get some of these. Like, you could watch Night of the Living Dead in the Wikipedia link.
That's so cool.
Because it's like it's public domain. We could make a movie of the clips of Night of the Living Dead and get in no trouble.
That's neat.
Yeah. Great movie, though. We will be back next episode to watch Night of the Living Dead. My wife's excited. The next 2 movies we're going to watch, she's like, I'll watch them with you. She loves zombie movies. So, hint, hint, the episode after this one will also be a zombie movie. It happens to be my favorite of all time zombie movies. So I'm excited for that. So, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like and comment, subscribe, all the things you're supposed to do when you're at these things. Drop us a review if you're listening to the podcast. We'd love reviews. If we ever got one, we'd really cherish it. So be the first. Drop us a review. So before we take off, do you have anything to share?
Nope, just enjoy this weather. It's cool outside. I don't know
It is
if
very
there's
nice out today.
anyone out there that doesn't like being hot like me, but I love this weather.
I can't help it. People tell me all the time how hot I am, so nope, that's not true at all. Well, all right, well, you guys, we're out of here for this episode. We'll see you guys next time with Night of the Living Dead.
Bye.